Welcome back to Natural Destruction, where we bring you urgent weather bulletins and the truth about disasters that are changing the entire planet. Imagine a small, peaceful town in the mountains of New Mexico, suddenly turning into a raging river in just minutes. Don't take your eyes off the screen, because what happened in Ruidoso is not just a tragedy, it's a dire warning for all of us. As a weather broadcaster, I monitored directly the torrential rain pouring down on the mountainous region of Ruidoso, over 8 to 9 centimeters of water in less than 90 minutes. And what's worse, this land had already been ravaged by major wildfires last year, leaving behind burned scars that made the ground incapable of absorbing water. So what happened? Every drop of rain slid straight down the slopes at terrifying speed, forming a deadly waterfall, crashing down on residential areas. Personal comment: this is no longer just a heavy rain. This is a consequence of wildfires, a double disaster triggered by climate change and lack of preparation. Clear warning: if you live near areas that have previously burned, do not underestimate any rain. It could be the beginning of a flash flood within minutes.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god!
A white Winnebago RV was found overturned by the Ruidoso River inside. The Trotter family, who had just arrived from Fort Bliss for a camping trip, had no chance to escape little Charlotte, only 4 years old, and her brother Sebastian, just 7, were swept away as their parents tried to pull them out of the vehicle, the muddy water already reaching the windows. Those 2 children, who had laughed together just hours earlier on a weekend trip, had now become tragic names on the missing list. According to witnesses, the father screamed in despair, running and slipping on the flooded street, clutching his daughter's pink jacket. Everything happened in less than 2 minutes, and they were not the only ones. Just a few miles south, Gavlin Trailer Park, home to over 300 residents, had turned into utter chaos. Trees blocked the way, cars floated like matchboxes. Someone stood on a rooftop, eyes staring hopelessly into the distance as thick black water continued to rise hour by hour. A 70-year-old woman recalled having to climb onto her roof with her little dog, tying it to her wrist with a thin rope. She sat there for nearly 3 hours, the rain slapping her face like whips. Even the well-known area of Ruidoso Downs, once a bustling horse racing hub, had become a massive swamp. Collapsed stables, power poles lying across the road, torn scars on the ground, still clearly showed the path of the deadly water that had passed through. At 2:47 p.m., the Doppler radar at the eastern monitoring station of Ruidoso detected an abnormal rain system with unprecedented density, exceeding 5 times the land's tolerance threshold. Immediately, the National Weather Service issued a flash flood emergency, the highest level of alert for flash flooding. Emergency messages were sent via the WEA system to mobile phones. Sirens blared throughout the town. Police and firefighters split up to knock on every door, urging residents to evacuate immediately. But the rain grew heavier by the minute. Many roads were deep in mud and water, impassable by any vehicle. Within the next 2 hours, over 65 people were rescued under extremely harsh conditions. Some were trapped in cars where the water had reached the steering wheel. Others clung to electric poles. One man was found, sitting in the top of an oak tree, more than 6 meters above the ground. He had climbed there as the flood rose and had no way down. Black Hawk rescue helicopters from the National Guard were deployed. Ropes were lowered. Through wind and thunder, one by one, people were pulled from the raging waters. In one case, a 10-month-old baby was rescued first, wrapped in a life vest, eyes tightly shut from cold and fear. Meanwhile, temporary shelters were opened at Ruidoso Community Center, Eastern New Mexico, University, Ruidoso Branch, and Angus Church. Relief organizations arrived quickly, bringing warm blankets, drinking water, food, and first aid supplies. This is where humanity shines brightest amid disaster. When technology combines with unity, miracles can still happen. Multi-layered warning systems, prior preparedness, and rapid response saved dozens of lives. But don't forget, there are still hundreds more who weren't so lucky. Scars. Burned soil becomes hydrophobic, unable to absorb water but instead pushes it away. When the rain pours, everything instantly becomes a flash flood. Extreme rainfall intensity. The southwestern monsoon brought record humidity, causing torrential rain. In a short amount of time, fragile terrain structure, bridges, trails, and house foundations could not withstand water flows up to 7 times stronger than normal. The rainy and stormy season is far from over. Flash flood warnings remain in effect. Just 2.5 to 3 centimeters of water per hour is enough to be dangerous. If it falls on burn scar areas, regions such as Hollywood, Alto, and Paradise Canyon remain at extremely high risk. Many flood control projects have been planned, but due to bureaucratic procedures, most have not been implemented. The drainage systems remain clogged with ash and debris from wildfires. Warning: don't wait for an official alert. If heavy rain begins, proactively seek higher ground and evacuate immediately. Even just 15 centimeters of water is enough to sweep away an adult. The June 2024 incident, after the Salt Fire wildfire, an unexpected rainstorm also caused flash flooding at the same location, Ruidoso. A local resident shared, "The ground here is like glass. Any drop of water falls and just bounces right off." Rescue teams had to use helicopters to evacuate people trapped on rooftops. There were no casualties, but the property damage was immense. Lesson learned: wildfires leave behind ticking time bombs, and the rain is the fuse